Hey there, in this video you're going to learn how to create a reputation that serves you, so stay tuned. Hey there, Mel Abraham here from Thoughtpreneur Academy, and in this video you're going to learn how to create a reputation that serves you. But effectively, when we talk about being a thought leader, when you talk about being an influencer, an expert out in a space, there's two things that you need to master. One is your knowledge, but the other is your notoriety. How you're known out in that space becomes extremely, extremely important. So in this video, you'll learn the 3 steps to create that reputation. In step 1, it's about getting clear on where your reputation truly comes from. And the first thing to think about is that if we don't have the right reputation, if we don't get that orchestrated right, people don't trust you. And if they don't trust you, guess what? They're not going to buy from you, and they're going to completely shut you out. Effectively, what happens is that people will base some of their buying decisions, their desire to work with you, and the value of what you provide based on the reputation that's out in the world. So what we need to do, and what it's important to do, is to be very deliberate and intentional with how we orchestrate our reputation, because in the end, when we do that right, you build goodwill, you build trust, and you build people that follow you. And step 2 is about being intentional about the reputation you create. And the first piece is about perception. Perception is their reality. How does your world perceive you becomes your reality. And I'll give you an example in my own example. One of the things that happened when I first started in this business, my very first thought leader practice. Now we're talking back pre-internet in the 90s. So we had to get myself out there. The problem was that I didn't have the vast amount of work experience and expertise at the time. And so every time I went to get hired, they turned around and said, "Mel, you've got no expertise." What I need to do is shift their perception, shift their focus to something different. And what I did is I went out and said, how can they see me as the authority? Started speaking, writing, press releases, and being out in the world and letting them know that that was happening. And so what happened over time is that the way they saw me in that light was vastly different. They saw me as an authority. And then when they hired me, when I got them the results, that became the reality. And so what's the perception that your market has, your audience has of you? And how can you shift that perception in a way that serves you so you can serve them at a much higher level? So it's really important to be intentional about the reputation you create so you set yourself up as the authority, as the thought leader, the market leader in your space, that you're the go-to person for the topic area that you're in. So that leads us to step number 3, which is really built around my framework called the Reputation Navigator. The bottom line is that how this works is you need to understand what are the things that you say, what are the things that you do, and how are you seen in the marketplace. Because when we control the things that we see, the message that's out in the world, how they see us, the things that we're doing out in the world, what we'll do is we'll build trust, we'll build connection, and we'll become the role model. But here's the interesting thing with this. In this whole thing is to realize that there's a different set of who and there's a different set of what that we can have a reputation. Reputation isn't just one thing. I can have a reputation with my suppliers. I can have a different reputation with my team. Now, the hopes is that the reputation is consistent throughout, but you can have a reputation with your suppliers, you can have your reputation with the owners of the business. If you're not the owner, you can have the reputation with your team, the employees, the people, the contractors you work with. You can have a different reputation with your customers. So the question is, what is your reputation in a holistic view to all the people you deal with? And if one is up and the rest are down, we've got an issue that we got to deal with, because your thought leadership is built strictly on your reputation. Now the interesting thing is that you can have your reputation in different areas. I can have a great reputation from a financial standpoint, but not from a governance standpoint. In other words, I lack integrity, but financially I've made a lot of money. That's probably because I lacked integrity. So the question then is, where does that reputation build? It's going to be in your governance, it's going to be in your financial, it's going to be in your relationships, what kind of relationship reputation do you have, and what kind of social relationship do you have? What kind of societal philanthropy and causes and that type of thing. So when you're building your reputation, look at the different aspects of who you're relating to and the different aspects of what it's all about. And it's built on how they see you, the things you do, okay, and the things you say. The cool thing is that when you master this, you actually build yourself as a thought leader. You set yourself as an authority and as a role model in the industry and the space that you're serving. And what ends up happening is you build yourself a personal brand built on the foundation of a great reputation. To help you with that, I've created the Personal Brand Articulator, which will help you articulate who you are, who you do it for, and start to build that brand awareness around your thought leadership and your reputation. Click the link in this video so you can download it now, and I'll see you in the next video. Where does, we're not talking about okay. In step one, it's about getting clear on where your reputation, those damn dentures.